2,000 years ago, the Romans built the Pantheon, a structure with the largest unreinforced concrete dome in the world, and it still stands. Meanwhile, some modern buildings barely last 50 years. What did the Romans know about concrete that we've forgotten? In a world where most modern concrete structures deteriorate within a century, Roman concrete has defied time, weather, and even seawater. Today we're going to explore the science behind this ancient wonder and understand why Roman concrete still stands. The Romans weren't the first to use concrete. Ancient Egyptians and Mesopotamians used early versions, but it was the Romans who perfected it. Between the 1st century BC and the 2nd century AD, they built some of the most iconic structures known to history using their unique concrete recipe. One interesting story is about how Emperor Vespasian financed the construction of the Colosseum. After the brutal year of the 4 emperors, Vespasian needed a way to win over the Roman people. The construction of the Colosseum using their revolutionary concrete was not just a gift to the people, but a statement of Rome's engineering dominance. From the aqueducts to the harbours that stretched across the Mediterranean, Roman concrete was everywhere. But their mastery of concrete wasn't just about engineering, it was about chemistry. The secret to Roman concrete lies in its recipe. They used 3 main ingredients: lime, volcanic ash, and aggregate. Now let's break down how these work together. First, the Romans created lime by heating limestone, which contains calcium carbonate. This released carbon dioxide and left behind calcium oxide. When mixed with water, this lime became the base for their concrete. What made Roman concrete truly different was the addition of volcanic ash. This ash came from areas like Mount Vesuvius, and when mixed with lime, it created a material far more durable than anything we use today. One incredible example is the construction of the Porter's Harbour, commissioned by Emperor Claudius. This man-made marvel used thousands of tons of concrete, some of which was poured underwater, where it continued to harden over centuries. It was so durable that remnants of it still remain submerged today. Finally, they added aggregate, which could be crushed stones, bricks, or even pottery shards. This gave the concrete its bulk and structural strength. But the magic happened at a chemical level. So how did the Roman concrete last so long? Well, the answer lies in the reaction between the lime and the volcanic ash. When these two materials combined, they created a substance called calcium aluminum silicate hydrate, or CaSH for short. CaSH forms a dense crystalline structure that bonds the concrete together and strengthens over time, especially in wet conditions. This is completely different from modern concrete. Modern concrete, while strong initially, weakens as water and air penetrate its pores, leading to cracks and corrosion, while Roman concrete actually gets stronger over time. Now here's where things get really interesting. Roman concrete thrives in seawater. While modern concrete erodes quickly in seawater, Roman concrete used in harbours and seawalls has lasted a millennia. Take the case of the Caesarea Maritima, a major harbour built by King Herod around 22 BC. Using the Roman method of underwater concrete, this massive harbour was constructed directly into the Mediterranean Sea. Even though it's been exposed to waves and salt for 2,000 years, the concrete in some sections has only strengthened. When seawater touches the Roman concrete, a reaction occurs between the volcanic ash and the salty water. This reaction produces aluminous tobermorite, a rare mineral that fills any cracks and strengthens the material even further. In simple terms, Roman concrete heals itself while modern concrete breaks down. For centuries, the secret to Roman concrete was lost, but today scientists are rediscovering its recipe. In 2017, researchers used advanced techniques to examine Roman seawalls and discovered the formation of aluminous tobermorite, explaining why it gets stronger in seawater. Modern engineers are trying to replicate this ancient formula to create longer lasting and more sustainable structures. After all, Roman concrete was not only durable, it was eco-friendly. Unlike modern cement, which requires extreme heat and emits large amounts of carbon dioxide, Roman concrete was made using natural materials that had a much smaller carbon footprint. Today, modern cement is responsible for about 8% of the world's carbon emissions. But what if we could shift back to a method inspired by the Romans? Engineers are now experimenting with volcanic ash in modern cement to make it stronger, longer lasting, and more sustainable. By studying the past, we may be able to build a future that stands the test of time, just like the Pantheon. The Romans may not have had the technology we have today, but their understanding of materials and their pursuit of longevity were ahead of their time. Their concrete recipe, forgotten for centuries, is a reminder that sometimes the best solutions aren't always new, they're ancient. So could we build things today that last as long as the Romans' masterpieces? Maybe the answer lies in blending ancient wisdom with modern innovation.